All right, well, here we are back with another beer review. Let me adjust that. And this is a very special one. The reason I say it's a very special one is because this is from a brewery who is no longer with us, who went out of business fairly recently. And I'll give you guys a good look. This is an interesting beer. It's in a big 25-ounce bottle, pint and 9 ounces. And it is a bourbon barrel-aged stout, but is not a very strong beer. It's only listed at 6.8% ABV. My best guess, because I don't know the exact backstory on this beer was probably in bourbon barrels, waiting to be released at a certain point, and then when they found out that the brewery was going to be closing down, my guess is everything was packaged, and then this, as far as I know, was not even sold at the brewery prior to closing. This is now being sold through a series of liquor stores here in Colorado Springs that did carry a lot of FH's beer. This beer is only $10, so they're trying to sell this to the masses. They want everybody buying these. You know, they're not charging an arm and a leg for it being a barrel-aged stout. I don't know how long this thing was barrel-aged for. I know that this was a collaboration with one of the liquor stores that I believe provided the barrel or barrels, because I don't know the batch size. So it was probably aged in a pretty solid barrel. I can say right off the bat, as soon as I popped the top, I got some aroma, so that was actually nice to see. I don't expect this at the ABV to be super barrel forward. Part of me wonders if the ABV is even correct. There's like no head. There's hardly any carbonation at all. You know, there's times when breweries will bourbon barrel age a beer and they don't remeasure gravity after the fact. And so I've even seen where the pre-barrel age and post-barrel age ABV is the same. I personally disagree with that, but I am not a brewer. So, you know, maybe I'm in the wrong. Let's give it a shot. It does smell really good. If there's bourbon barrel, it's very light. I really need to find out how long this thing was aged in the barrel for, because that would probably answer some of my questions. This is a milk stout. It tastes very much like a milk stout. Like I said, aged in bourbon barrels with cacao nibs and vanilla. So it's got a nice chocolate kind of vanilla vibe going on. This is pretty much exactly how you want a milk stout to taste. You want a milk stout to have this, in my opinion, slightly thinner body for even being barrel aged. It's got a nice, very crushable body, and it's actually got that slight, chocolate milkiness to it, which is awesome because I'm a big fan of that. There was a beer by Odd 13, and I can't remember the name. It was like Captain something, I want to say, and it was a chocolate milk stout, and that beer was so good. It literally tasted like a stout mixed with like hot chocolate or chocolate milk. It was super good. It's very light and drinkable. If you told me this was not barrel aged, I would totally believe you. This is not a beer that screams barrel aged. It's not a beer that screams barrel at all. You do get a little bit of hints of wood and a little bit of that character on the back end, so likely it was not a fresh barrel, because I'm not getting any real hints of whiskey, and that makes sense why the ABV didn't really increase at all. It was really just aging to get some of the hints of the wood that it was sitting in, rather than taking on some of the characteristics of the actual bourbon itself. I do like this beer. This beer is actually pretty solid. Again, yeah, 6.8%. I'm a big fan of the format. I like the big bottle. I like the label. I think it looks cool. It doesn't have tons of information on it. It does say that it contains lactose on the side, and I like that. I dig this. I think this is actually a really cool way for them to have sent out as one of the last beers that you could get from them. You can still get beers from them at liquor stores around Colorado Springs, and where I don't know if they're distributed up to Denver or not, but you can definitely still find their beers around town. Veterans, Freedom, Patriots, and Oasis. So the four I know for sure have this bottle. I don't know about everybody else. I definitely think for $10, this is worth it. Go buy a bottle. I don't think it's worth aging, but go buy a bottle split it with a buddy. It's 25 ounces. It's a great beer to split with somebody and enjoy a nice send off from FH Beer Works. It's one of the last beers that they put out, one of the last beers that they were able to get distributed, and it is really a pretty solid milk stout. I was a huge fan of their German chocolate cake stout, not just because of the chocolate and coconut, but they put coffee in it, and it creates this really nice element that takes the German chocolate cake flavor for me to the next level, and I thought that was excellent. I bought a case of it when they were going out of business for $20 for a case, and I still have some of it. I thought that was a great deal. This is not on the same level for me as the German chocolate cake, but if this was a beer in cans or this was a beer on tap at the brewery, back when they were open, I had gone there. This is probably a beer that I would actually order because it's pretty solid. Again, it tastes exactly as advertised, just minus the bourbon barrel. If you're a bourbon barrel stout drinker like me, and like me, you drink a lot of heavy beers. You drink a lot of stuff that's over 10%. Some of the stuff that we drink is very, very barrel heavy and tastes nothing but barrel and whiskey. It's basically that, just in beer form. Don't expect that out of this beer. If that is all you're looking for, it's probably not the beer for you. This beer is a very nice balance of some of the woody notes that were imbued from the barrel, and then the adjuncts, the lactose, and then just the fact that it is a milk stout. It all comes together to be a very cohesive and easy drinking, but yet flavorful beer. If I was going to give this a rating on Untapped, I'm gonna go with the 4. And I hate when I got to think about it. It's like when David Portnoy does his 7.981. For me, it's like, do I give it that 7.5 or 8, 7.5 or 8? And just the fact that it's FH and you can't get this beer anymore, I'll go ahead and I'm gonna give it a solid 8. It's very drinkable. I'm gonna probably drink about half of this tonight. I'm gonna plug it up with my fancy device that Scott had me get, and we'll finish this thing off tomorrow. So again, go out, grab it. There's probably tons of bottles out there that they're sitting on. They're $10. It's totally worth it for the price. In fact, if this beer was like $14.99, I think it's probably still worth it. Anything over that, I would want that barrel flavor. I would really want it to be like that extra bourbon barrelness. So if this was like a $20 bottle, I probably would have been a little bit let down. That said, it's a great beer. Go try it. FH is no longer out there, but again, if you see their beer in town, grab some. It's not going to stay fresh forever. Get some and drink it while you still have the ability to, and let's see what they end up doing in the future. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll have more reviews for you guys coming up, and see you on the next one.